today I'm going to play JU-87 Stuka Ace from Lock and Load Publishing. Yes, I've got videos on this being delivered, on me unboxing this, and on my previous gameplay where I looked at a pre-production copy well over a year ago, possibly even close to 2 years ago. It's been a while, so I thought I'd pick this up and play again, but since it's been so long since I've played this game, I thought I'd start easy and just play kind of a solo scenario out of the theater book. You have this whole theater book here, which has all kinds of scenarios from different fronts, you know, from Finland and Russia and the Mediterranean, China even, and the very beginning is Spain in 1938, which may very well be the first appearance of Stukas in a military conflict. This game really shines and is really meant to be a campaign game. It's got a little bit of an RPG-ish feel where you're going to take a pilot and then progress that pilot, and eventually you start off, I think, as a wingman, but eventually you're going to be commanding formations and taking on a greater responsibility in the German effort of at least the Air Force effort in World War II. So it's really meant to be played as a series of missions over time, and there's this whole theater book, and then there's these theater charts to determine where you start and how you progress along that. So that's how this is really meant, and that's where this really shines. But you can also just pick it up and play a mission if you've got a few minutes to kill and you just want to try one or a couple of missions, because once you set this up, it's really easy to keep playing missions, because this is what you see is what you get. This is how you set up the game here. So I thought I'd start in Spain. And I'm not going to roll. You can roll for a mission, and when you roll, all the rolls are in here. As you can see, there's no dice on the board. The dice are in this flight deck. You have a 6-sided die result and a 12-sided die result that's represented on the flight deck, so you just draw a flight deck card when you need to. I'm playing on a mat. This is a neoprene mat that came along with it. Came along with my copy of it. You're supposed to have a board. You have a board in the box, or should have a board in the box, but the mat's nice, adds a little bit of extra texture to the whole thing. I'm just going to pick mission 1 and start here, and as I said, this is really easy to kind of set up and get going. You have your flight cards. You're going to have your target, and in mission 1 the target is a gun emplacement, so I put that out here, which if you look at this, it's going to have, there's a secondary target there, of trucks. I rolled, but I didn't roll as I was setting this up. But the keynote to know about this is I'm going to have anti-aircraft fire that I'm going to have to deal with, and if I damage it, I get 2 victory points, and if I destroy it, I get 3. And if I have a 500-pound bomb or greater, or a 1,000-pound bomb, I'm going to get a +1 to my hit. That all will come apparent as we go through the charts. As again, this is a solo game, so the sequence of play is very important, and you follow steps as you go along. One other thing I needed to figure out was what plane, and I'm just starting off with the JU-87A1 because it's got the markings of the Spanish campaign. You're supposed to roll for that too, but I'm just going to pick that. You can roll as much as you want with that deck of cards, but yeah, and you need to during the game. But some of the setup stuff, if you just want to throw something down and get started, you can get started. So here's the plane. I'll bring this into play a little bit here. And since you get a bonus for a 500-pound bomb, I'm going to put a 500-pound bomb on it. If you do that, you don't get the gunner. So gunner not carried, you apply like a gunner killed modifier. So this is the board. You're going to be keeping track of all your status of your plane. Somewhat reminiscent to B-17 Queen of the Skies. You're going to know where damage hits, whether it's your strut or the tail, or structure, or tail, or the engine, or your machine gun. And again, here's the bomb, and then pilot and gunner. I could put a wounded mark on the gunner there, since I don't start off with one because I got the bigger bomb. And then your maneuver, I'm at 0, and engine power, I'm at 1. Engine power comes into play. You're going to be able to draw more action cards, and I'll talk about that in a brief second here. And it says right here, you know, in July of 1937, a handful of Ju-87s were assigned to the Condor Legion as part of the German support for the Spanish Civil War. This would be the first combat trials of the aircraft, and the lessons learned here would go on to assist further development of the plane and its tactics. So that's the symbol for that. And if you see here, you have a little area to mark all your awards and accomplishments of your pilot. And so I'm putting that designation for the Condor, which looks like it's a pig. And then, you know, starts off at the lowest level there, so put that there. I've got all the counters for that up here, and I align my counters in like damage tokens and bombs and target damage, just status markers and your stamina markers, and this is all for the for your pilot. You also start off with this pilot board. There are other pilot boards. There's 4 in total. There's 2 on each side. And but if you start off at the very lowest level at lieutenant, then you work your way up. Eventually you have more responsibility and control more planes, but this is where we oh, it looks like it should go this way, so I should go with this way. Got to do the designation right. So the you have this action card deck, which is going to be very important. This actually allows you to modify dice rolls, so it, you know, gives you a chance during the game. So I put that there. And then you start with the draw of 5 action cards. So I drew those, and I've got this is the modifier you can use to modify different checks. And then sometimes you get bonus here, like I got navigation bonus, no damage, I got bomb release, I got pull up, and I got dive. So those are probably saved for those specific events. They're very key, and we'll go over that. And these are just good numbers to probably, oh, this is +1 to hit, so I'll probably use that for the hit, because you really can't modify the hit. There's not a lot of cards that modify the hit, because it's not a check, it's just a result base, so you can't use these for that. So I'll probably save that for that. Where else are we at? Oh, so I will roll for the weather. So that's one of the first things you need to do. You need to see what the weather is for this mission. And there's the weather table right here. So you draw a card here. And so we got 3. So as you see, there's a 3 for the 6 side and 4 for the 12. So on a 3, it's Alt 1. So you'll go into this deck here. Oh, sorry. My altitude cards, and Alt 1 is clear. So I put that down here. And this tells you what benefits you have if you're at high or low. You kind of want to be at high altitude when you go over the target, so you get a better dive. This is a dive bomber, so you need to build up some height and then do a massive or straight down dive, drop the bomb, and then pull up before you crash. So you kind of put that there, and I'll put the altitude at high. So that's the first thing that we get going before we get going, right? Now to get going, we basically pull up this sequence of play, and we prepare the flight deck, which we have. And in this one, it'll tell you which flight cards we're going to add in, 32 to 37, which are European cards. There's like 1 to 31 is like the base cards, and then there's other cards that can kind of come in this over the course of the game. But then there's theater-specific cards that go in here. I'll also look here at my flight cards. I need to do 2 approaches, so this tells you kind of your length of the mission. Each one of these cards also has, in addition to the die rolls, they also have an approach and a return. So I need to do 2 approaches and 1 return. 2 approaches, do my attack, and then 1 return. If I make it back to the base alive, I succeeded this mission, and then whatever I did over the target, I do over the target. You also do the search. There's 2 cards in the objective deck, and so there's 1 card that is target acquired or found, and then there's like 6 or 7, I think there's 6 searching cards that have some of them, have negative effects like AA fire or enemy contact or something like that. And then there's one that's like nothing. So you'll pull one of those 6. In this case, we pull 1 because we have 2 cards, 1 searching, 1 target reached. You shuffle those 2 cards, so I got a 50-50 chance of finding the target, so I put that there. Sorties, just 1. I just get there and get back. Enemy presence, none, so I put this on 0 here. But support fighters, 1. Now the enemy presence none is really big because there's a lot of enemy contact cards that are both in the objective cards and in the flight cards. So that's going to help me out. That's one reason I wanted to pick a first mission as I'm getting back into this game, so that I won't have to deal with enemy contacts. That's where you can get your plane shot up a little bit. So with that, I think we are ready to go. You also have these stamina markers. These stamina, you start off with 5. Stamina is important especially in your bomb run, because you can discard a stamina card and then draw the top of the action card deck and then apply its result to some of your checks, except for you can't do that on hits, but you can do that on your dive and on your bomb release and on your pull-up. So it gives you a chance of, you could draw 0. There are some zeros in here. 0 to 3 are the numbers in here. So you draw 0, well, you're SOL, but you might draw a good number to help modify your result there. Stamina can also help out, like against AA. I think for every 2 stamina you pay, you'll get a -1 to the AA, and we'll get to that when we get to that. So we've got to prepare the flight deck, we prepare the objective deck, we set up the player sheet, we set up the aircraft sheet, which mainly is just the 500-pound bomb. Prepare action deck, which we did. There are some, you can actually start off with the basic action deck, and there's other action cards that are better that can come in over the course of play. Again, this game is really meant to be a campaign or a long, a much more developed game. But I'm just playing it quick and dirty right now. And then you take your initial hand, which is 5, and then we take off. So you draw a flight card and check for the mission start event. So let's go to the mission start event. So that should be takeoff, I would imagine. Let's see, mission start, takeoff. So yeah, we do takeoff. So we draw a flight card, and we're going to look at this chart here. There's a lot of charts. This is kind of a charty war game. There's a lot of charts you're going to be rolling on. However, you don't roll dice, you pull cards. So we're going to do the takeoff. So we're going to look at the D12 on that, as you can see right there. So I pulled the first card, and the D12 is 9. And we're going to be okay, because at 1 to 11 is nothing. Otherwise, if on a 12, I'd have to do a check, and if there's a chance for having damage, and then you're damaging your plane even before you get underway. So that's the first thing we do, and looks like we got past that. Now we got to do approaches. So remember, if you look at this, we have to do 2 approaches. And I might be messing up the rules. It's been a while since I played this game. I went through the rulebook hastily, and I was just trying to remember what I did before, which was over a year ago, well over a year ago. So I do 2 approaches. So don't learn to play the game based on how I do it, but it gives you a feel of it at least. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm used to that. So I'm going to pull up the first approach, and so it's enemy contact right there. So you have an approach, you have a return to base. I've got to do 2 approaches. So I have enemy contact, but if you recall, we're early Spain, so the enemy doesn't really have a lot of Air Force presence, so enemy presence is none on this first mission. So we're good to go. That's 1 approach. So I have to do 2 approaches, so I draw another card here. And then we've got radio contact. I do a check of 4. Success, you can look at the first objective card, then place the card back on top of the mini deck. So this is a check. So when you do a check, you can use some of your action cards, but I'm not going to do that. I got a 50-50 chance. I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to do the check here. And so we draw a card, and I need to roll 4+. and 5. So I roll 4 plus. So I get to look at the, what does it say? I get to look at the top card, look at the first objective card, then place it back on top. So I get to see what the first card is. I got a 50-50 chance. Target reached. Okay, so that's good news. So I know I'm not going to encounter any extra problems over the target. I'm going to reach the target when I get there, but let's get there first. So the approach, I'm there now. So I've done my 2 approaches. So I'm there. So now we go to kind of, it's a game within the game, which is the key part of of a Stuka dive bomber, and that's the bomb attack. So the first thing I need to figure out is where do I want to start my attack. You can start at the base, which is really high altitude, and it's really good for your pull up because you're giving you much more time to drop the bomb and then pull back up. I can go near, which gives me +1 to release, but it's -1 to pull up because I'm getting a little bit closer to the target. And then if I'm really, really risky, I can do lowest, which is +3 to the release. I'm really putting that bomb right over the target, but I'm really risking a pull up here. And this is the pull up is you can do a great job of bombing, but if you screw the pull up, then you're screwed. I mean, you're dead because well, I don't know if you automatically die, but you crash. We don't want to do that. Crashes are bad. So I'm going to split it in the middle. I'm going to do, and I think over time you're going to have, I think you're going to get other stuff or other abilities as you develop your character, or at least get maybe some better action cards. So maybe you could risk this a little bit better because you can immediately mitigate the risk here. But I'm going to do near, so I get a +1 to release and -1 to pull up. I think there might actually be some cards here. Yeah, this is +1, so I'm going to get a plus counters, I should say. +1 to release and -1 to pull up. So +1 to bomb release. So I'm going to put this. I'm going to put this right here. So now we go to. So that tells me what bonuses I'm going to get. But the first thing I get to do is I got to do the dive. So visibility's good. There's no changes there. Formation's good. Altitude is good. Sometimes if you're at a lower altitude, so again, if you're at a lower altitude, it's going to mess up your dive, as you can see right there. But I'm at the high altitude, so that's good. I got a good run up to my bomb drop. So it's a 4+ check. So I gotta roll 4+ on a 6-sided die coming out of this deck. But if you recall, I have this is the dive, right? So I got a +3 here, or a 3 for the dive. So whatever I roll, I'm gonna add 3 to that. So that means if I roll a 1, I'm gonna have a 4. So I've got an automatic success there. So that's good, right? So I'm going to play that. I'll just put this over here for the action. Yeah, you really can't see that. Maybe I'll go up a little bit there so you can see what's going on over there. Then I roll, and if I roll a 5, all right, 5. So that means I succeeded the dive because I got 5 + 3 is 8. And so I'm really good there. So now the next thing I'm going to do is AA fire. And there is actual anti-aircraft on the target here. You can have secondary targets on some of these things, but since I only got 1 bomb, I really don't care about the secondary target here. I guess I can machine gun it, right? So it's a 1. So AA is a little bit different. You're going to pull a card, and 1 to 4 is nothing. 5 to 6 is a -1 to my release, which is bad because I want to have a good release. 7+ is -1 to release, and then there's damage, so your plane can get damaged. So I definitely want to be lower here. You can spend 2 stamina and minus the thing on the die. This is AA fire. There's nothing really to modify here. I guess I think I can play cards to modify that, but I'm going to spend stamina. So I'll spend 2 stamina, And when you spend 2 stamina, I've got a -1 to this die. So whatever I roll, I'll have -1 here, and it's a D6. So the best I can do is a 5, but I might get nothing on this. So I'm going to draw the card here. It's a 1. Oh, that's easy. So that's a 0. So it's definitely nothing. So no AA damage. Now we go to bomb release, and if you recall, I get a +1 to my bomb release. Plus, I think I have a card here that, yeah, I've got this card here. I'm going to play this card because it's 3 to my bomb release. Now, again, you can play these cards to modify the die. These are special things that, I mean, this is 3 is better than 2, so I want to play it for this action. And sometimes these are just, you can play anytime, these ones at the bottom. So I can re-roll and draw a new card anytime I want. But I like this 3 for the bomb release, so I'm going to play that. So now I've got +1 plus, so I got +4 to the bomb release. Oh, this is the altitude, sorry. +4 to my bomb release. All I need is a 4 or better, so this should be an automatic success. And that's a lot of this game, is just trying to create an automatic success. But again, this is a solo mission, you know, in and out. Some of these you've got to do 2 sorties. Some of these you've got to do, you've got to do several different approaches there and back again. So you got to manage your resources. This one I can just throw it all to the wind because this is a one-shot deal. So I rolled a 3 plus 4 is 7. So good release. So I'm all good on that front there. So I'll put that over here. So now we go back to, so bomb release. Now I do my now I do my target. So this is where you do the hit. I got a good bomb release. It's a successful hit, as you can see right here. Now I've got to figure out what's over the target. I can't use these cards for that, or can I? Well, there's one card. Yeah, this card right here is +1 to hit. So you can't use these cards for that. That too would be better, but I can't use it for a hit because it's a result and not a check. But +1 to hit, I can. So I'm going to play that 1 there. So I get a +1 to the hit here. And I see what I get here. So a 4 to 5, I get, and it's a D6, I believe. And a 4 to 5 is a target damaged, and a 6 plus is a target destroyed. I really want to get a 6. I need to roll a 5 on this. Let's see what I get. It's a 4. So 4 plus 1 is a 5. So I only have, I didn't destroy the target, I just damaged the target. So what I'll do is I'll get a target damaged counter here. There's a target damaged, and I'll put that on the target. And I drop my bomb, so I take my bomb off. And what do I get? So we look on victory points. I'm gonna get 2 victory points. Now, 2 victory points, what does that mean for this game? Well, again, if over a campaign game, you might keep track of that, and you can use those things, or keep, they're important to keep track of that. But here I just get 2, so 3 was max, so not too bad. So I damaged it. So now all's gravy, right? I mean, I hit my target and I damaged it. Isn't that mission accomplished? No, I could die, so I got to pull up. This is where the tricky part becomes. So I got to roll 4 plus on the pull up. A failure is a crash, so we really don't like to do crashes. So I think I have a card here that gives me 3 to the pull up. So I'm going to play that card. I'm going to draw, and what I can do is I can spend a stamina, right? And I spend the stamina, then I just flip the top card of the action deck, and I get to add that number as well. So I got 3 plus 2 is 5. So I feel pretty good about the pull up here. So let's pull this out. 3 plus 5 is 8. I pulled up. I'm heading home. So now, if you look at this now, we got to do a return to base. So I got to do 1 return to base. Oh, well, geez. Once you're over the target, you got to flip. I kind of screwed that all up because I got the sneak peek. So once you're over the target, you're supposed to pull this up, objective card, and see if there's something else that happens. In this case, target was reached, so I didn't have to. I could go and do my attack. If I didn't have this card, let's see what the other card was. I would be searching, and they had AA defense, so I'd get a flak attack. So I'd get one flak attack, I'd have to survive that, and then I would do my whole attack procedure. I kind of skipped that, but because I had the sneak peek here. Sorry about that. So now I got to go home, right? So all these cards I got 2 stamina left. I've got, I get a refill of this. You get a refill of these cards after your attack based on your engine power. This is a early Stuka, so I only get 1 engine power. So I draw a card here, and it's a 2. So I got a 2 and a 3. So I feel pretty good. I got a 2 and a 3. All right. Now I do my return to base, which I got to do 1 of these. So you go pull back to this. Oh, these were all discards. So this is approach. This is approach. These are discards. So now I do my return to base, which is blank. So I got a blank return to base, so nothing happens. It's an uneventful return to base, but I'm good with uneventful because that means I live to fly another day. That's it. You don't have to land it. So I played some games where you have to do a landing. Those are usually aircraft carrier games, because it's a little bit trickier to land on some of those stuff. This is, you're done. Once you do that, your second return to base, you're home free, and there you have it. I probably messed up a few things on this, but I think I did pretty good on getting everything kind of oriented in the right manner there. I think I pulled something off over here. Anyway, so there you have it. Oh, there was 0. I pulled the bomb off. There's a 0 enemy presence. Anyway, so there you have it. That is a simple mission, and so I was left with 2 stamina and 2 cards. But that was just 1 sortie. Now, if I had to do 2 sorties, I'm going to have to do all that process again with whatever I had. And I've got to manage those resources. And if I run out of stamina, I couldn't do stuff to, mitigate my dice rolls. So anyway, that's the game. Again, I could set this up and do mission number 2 and mission. I can go through all the missions just as one-off type events, or you can get into these theater and you can do a whole career mode. And there's definitely a lot to the career mode to develop your pilots. But anyway, I think this was good to give you a feel of the game, quick and dirty. But I like it. I like the cards. The production value is incredible, especially with the matte. The cards are very nice, very clear. There's not a ton of counters, but their counters are more markers because this is a solitaire game. You've got the plane boards, and the planes advance too. As you get deeper into the campaign, you're going to get better planes. That gives you more options for armaments and loadouts for the bombs and better capabilities, for your engine and maneuverability and all kinds of stuff like that. Of course, having encounters, with enemy forces in the air, that changes things as well. Not only AA or flak, but also enemy planes can really mess up your day. Anyway, but that's Stuka Ace. Hope you enjoyed this little playthrough. It was pretty quick, but I gave you a little bit of a setup, a little bit of gameplay. I like it. If you like solitaire games and you want to play with cards instead of just a bunch of charts and dice, and the cards actually do some other stuff than just rolling dice, then check this out. Anyway, thanks all. Take care. Thanks for watching.